like me and you do not care about your grass, you kind of let it get out of hand sometimes. But maybe you have an annoying homeowners association, or you're a renter and your landlord actually cares about their grass, and you need to do something about it once it's gotten out of hand. So the first thing that you should know is that you should always wear pants. I'm ignoring that advice because I don't care. But at the very least, you should make sure that you wear some sunscreen and some appropriate shoes that will get grass stains on them. So make sure you're cool with that. For unclogging your mower, I recommend having some gardening gloves. They're also good for using the whole time, because if you don't use your hands very much, you can definitely build up some pretty bad calluses or blisters pretty early on in the mowing process. And so to avoid that, after you have your appropriate attire, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to clean up any possible debris, sticks, rocks, or dog toys. It is very likely that there are things hidden in your grass if it is very tall, so make sure that you know what is where. The biggest obstacle of mowing grass when it's gotten out of hand is that your mower is probably going to get stuck. Luckily, you can unclog your mower pretty easily. You just have to tip it and pull out the grass that's gotten stuck up in there. Now, if you're not comfortable sticking your hand in the mower, which honestly you shouldn't be, I don't know, I just apparently like to cheat death, then you can totally use a stick or other tool to get out the grass. Always make sure that your mower is not on, obviously. When you're unclogging it, you want to make sure that you spread out the clippings so it doesn't just clog it again. I recommend that when your grass is significantly long that you do not use a bag to empty, because first of all, you'll be emptying it all the time, but also grass clippings are actually great for your lawn because they will plant additional grass. After you've unclogged it, you want to make sure you move it out of where it got clogged so that it doesn't just get clogged again. Best is to move it to an area that you've already mowed. When you're restarting it after unclogging it, it helps to tip the mower up so that any last little bits of grass can fall out and not prevent it from starting. There are also ways that you can prevent it from getting stuck, which is mostly what we're going to talk about today. The first thing that I'm going to recommend is tilting your mower. Now, it's very important that you make sure that there are no kids or dogs or any other potential animals or people that could get injured, because it is exposing the bottom of the mower to the open air, so you want to make sure no one or nothing can get in there and get hurt. If you are an overachiever, which if you are, I don't know how you got in this position, but if you are, you can mow your grass multiple times at different levels, because most mowers will have a setting for how high you are or how low you are to the ground. So after following these tips at the highest level, you should be able to just go right over it at the lowest level to get it a much more manageable amount. I recommend that you do the edges of your yard first. Use the tilted mower method, and then once you've done that, go over a couple of rows, so then when you're doing the rest of it, you don't have to worry so much about the edges. If you're like me and you're too lazy to go around with the weed whacker, you can just push these down and then run them over with the lawnmower. What I do is I use the tilted mower on the highest levels of grass. I then create myself a few strips that are not directly next to each other and are the opposite direction that I want to finalize my mowing. By leaving space between the strips, you're allowing yourself to get more grass at the same time without clogging your mower. Now, there is still a risk always of clogging your mower, so if you start to hear the noise or feel the vibrations getting different, you want to make sure to tilt your mower up so that some of that grass can get out and pull it out of the situation that has caused it to clog. You're going to want to go both directions, because if you only go one direction, it will flatten the grass and then it will just pop back up when you're done. You can either come back by turning around, or you can come back by going backwards. Turning around is going to have the better effect, but both will work. If you have an area that's particularly thick, you want to make sure you do the tilted mow on it, even if you're doing the every other row area, because a thick area like that can still definitely clog your mower. Another method that is really similar to this is to just mow half rows instead of full rows. That way you're not getting as much grass in there, and it has the same effect as the multi-line option. Now, if you want to kill and rip up all of your grass and replace it with something native that doesn't need to be watered and mowed, I highly recommend that choice, and I'll put some links in the description on possible things you can do. So there you have it, some tips and methods for mowing your grass when you haven't kept it under control. In the future, I recommend you keep it under control, but we know you won't. As always, feel free to find me in the links in the description. I have a Patreon account if you'd like to donate. My videos range wildly in topics, so don't necessarily expect more yard work tips, but it's possible. Thank you, goodbye.